Good evening and welcome to Cosplay at the Ledge. This is Adriano and I'm here with
Hira.
And Hira is going to tell us a little bit about why she enjoys cosplay, where she's from. So Hira, whereabouts are you from?
I'm from South Korea.
South Korea.
Yeah.
That's near Seoul, or is that
Yeah, Incheon.
Incheon?
Yeah. Where the
Inchon. That's where they had a very big battle in the Korean War back in 1953, where General MacArthur commanded the troops. A little historical tidbit. Anyway, Hiran, can you tell us what got you into cosplay?
My best friend introduced me to it in Korea about a year ago.
Okay. And how did they introduce you to it? Did they say, here's a costume, or come and see the show?
We played game together and we cosplayed that game.
Oh, okay. Which game did you cosplay?
It's Cypert.
Cypert?
It's like League of Legends.
Okay, League of Legends I know. Cypert? So now that you're in Winnipeg, how are you finding the cosplay group in Winnipeg?
It's a little bit different. I think they really like DC Comics and Marvels mainly. But in Korea, we like animations and stuff from like Japan.
Okay. So it's more of an anime focus in Korea, and here it's a North American comic book culture.
Yep.
Okay. How long have you been here?
This is my third year in university.
Oh my goodness. That's 3 years as a Winnipegger. Can you believe it?
No.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming out. Hiran is one of our newer cosplayers, so looking forward to seeing more of her, and thank you very much for watching. Hi folks, welcome to Cosplay at the Ledge. This is Adriano, and I'm with
Mike?
And Mike is portraying Doctor Who number 2.
Yes. As it is in the book here, the handbook, the Doctor Who handbook for the second Doctor, portrayed by Patrick Troughton.
See, what an excellent idea. He has a handbook for those of us that don't know the Doctor. Anyway, Mike, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about cosplay and your involvement with it. So let's start off with, when did you first get into cosplay?
Okay, well that was last December. Here at the Legislature, I was the first Doctor, William Hartnell.
That was your first time cosplaying?
Yes, it was.
Wow. This pretty much makes Mike kind of a newbie. And how are you finding it so far?
Well, I find it good. It's something to do. It's get to meet new friends and new people that share the same the same hobby that you have.
Well said. Now, you've played several Doctors so far in the shoots that you have come out.
Yes,
What's your ambition, to portray them all?
Well, I do at least the first 5. Because that's what I have. Because it was the first Doctor. Then for January I was the 5th. Then for February I was the 3rd. It's John.
And now it's March and you're number 2.
Yes.
Okay, so we know what's coming up in next month.
So next month it's Tom Baker, number 4.
See, and number 4 was my favorite because that's the one that I grew up with.
Yeah, the guy with the scarf.
Mike, thank you so much for coming out. And that's been the second cosplayer we've seen at today's shoot. Charlie is actually one of our youngest cosplayers, so we're just going to find out a little bit about Charlie. Charlie, what got you into cosplay?
You asked me if I wanted to go for a photo shoot, and so I tried it once, and then I had a lot of fun, so I just continued with it.
That's true. I did ask her out to a photo shoot. Of course, she also had a Nerf gun and she shot me, but that's another story. What? I know I asked you first for a photo shoot, but did you always have an interest in cosplaying?
No, not really. Like when I was younger, I liked dressing up with all my friends, but I never had the interest of taking pictures in costumes till then.
Charlie is also one of the most familiar faces because you see her as volunteer number 1 or volunteer supreme at many cons. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about what's been your experience being a volunteer for the Comic Con, the Icon, this con, that con.
Okay. My experience has been really fun. I got to meet a lot of new people that I can talk to out of Comic-Con as well. I got to meet many special guests that I was so excited to see as well. It is very tiring volunteering for a whole weekend, but it's completely worth it.
Good for you. Who's your favorite guest?
Patrick Stewart. I got to say hi to him before bringing people into the programming room, and he was so nice as well. So, yeah.
See, that's the fun part when you get to meet heroes like that. I think the most I ever heard from William Shatner was "Get out of my way, kid."
Yeah. Yeah, he just kind of shoved everyone out of the way with a dozen bodyguards around him. So it's like not very nice.
You've been to a couple of these cosplay shoots now. Where do you see it going, or do you see it growing?
I can see it growing because, like, when I started, there'd be less than 10 people going, and here there's over a dozen people. So yeah, I think it'd grow definitely into bigger events, maybe different locations as well that can accommodate all these people. I've no idea where it's going. Like maybe as it gets bigger, it'll get more recognition as well. So that'd be really good.
No, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much. Because what happens is it's pretty much just a free-for-all for friends, people to meet people with the shared interest that will come out. And I will say that we like the Legislative Building because it's got so many different moods to it. But I'm not going to lie, it's also free. So in winter, that comes in really handy. Charlie, thank you so much for the interview, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you. Take care now. Hi folks, welcome to Cosplay at the Ledge. I'm Adriano, and this is
Laura.
Laura, thank you so much for coming out. Could you tell us what character you're portraying?
Christiana Visapici from Assassin's Creed 2.
From Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you've been to a couple of cosplay shoots before. You've also been to a couple of cosplay cons before. So I'm wondering, when did you first start getting to cosplay, and what was your main interest?
I started getting to cosplay C4 2010. I didn't know about it until my fiance Steven told me about it. The first one I had made was this one. What got me into it is basically I was able to portray characters I've always dreamed of dressing up as, like Anastasia. I've always dreamed of dressing up as her, and I have her, and this was my dreams come true to have her dress.
Oh, nice. Have you always had, do you remember when you first started having dreams of dressing up?
When I first seen the Anastasia movie and I seen her dress, the Grand Duchess dress I wore last month, as soon as I seen that dress, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with her character.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. This was Laura, and I'm Adrian, and this was Cosplay at the Ledge. Welcome to Cosplay at the Ledge. I'm Adriano, and this is
James Antoine.
James is dressed as the...
Shadow Trooper of the 501st.
Okay. And James is also noted for being one of the official Lucasfilm-approved groups of Star Wars cosplayers.
Yes.
In your case, as a Stormtrooper, correct?
Yes.
Correct. James, I'm just going to ask you a couple things, because you've been a familiar face now in the cosplay scene for, well...
About 2 years.
2 years? Okay. What first got you interested in cosplay?
Well, I first started off with a Star Trek uniform as a gold shirt. And that's when I first actually got out and started going to the cons. That was about 5 years ago. And I laid off that for a year or so.
You laid off Star Trek?
What's that?
You laid off Star Trek?
I laid off Star Trek for about 2 years. And then I found my my Star Wars tapes. And I just had to do it. I had to get out there and I had to build a costume because I just loved it so much. I remember going back to 77 when I was just a wee little boy and standing outside of the Metropolitan Theater for the very first showing of Star Wars A New Hope.
My goodness, that's going back. I remember seeing it at Polo Park Cinema, back when Polo Park had a cinema. So tell me a little about, because you've actually built this through a variety of materials. So which materials did you use?
This is a PVC construction. It's also held together with strapping, it's called E5000 glue, and button snaps.
And for the helmet, was there some molding involved, or?
Molding, no. The helmet itself and the pieces itself are made by a prop master, and this is an AB costume. And what it is a vacuum form PVC.
Okay. And the good part with it is, because I know you've mentioned this before, is that you have liquid coolant inside, so it does cool you down a little bit when you're wearing the full outfit.
Not a liquid coolant. No, just a fan system.
Just a fan system?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get you to put this on for me?
Sure.
And let's take a look. This is what we call behind the scenes of the Dark Stormtrooper. Okay. And this is a completed outfit, and I have to say it looks incredibly menacing.
Thank you very much.
As you know, the Legislative building does not allow props of any sort that resemble weapons. So unfortunately, James does have the blasters to go with it. But he does have the hand blaster, which is actually just as cool. And this was also homemade?
This is also a screen-accurate homemade blaster.
Well done. So if security says it's okay, then it's okay. James, thank you very much for coming out. This is Adriano with Cosplay at the Ledge.